So this is going to be a shorter video than I usually do, but I want to really quick talk about standards and how it matters way more than you actually think that you have high standards when it comes to actually living your life out there. Otherwise, you are going to end up regretting it. Now, I wrote down right here the topic that I wanted to talk about, which is why your standards define your future. Now, that's all good and all, but what the fuck does that even mean? Over the past 4 years, I've been working on my business. I've been working on my skills, just improving on a day-to-day basis, all right? And for a bit of context, I've started my own business. I've learned a lot of things over the past 4 years. We're basically on year 5 right now. I've made more money than I've ever have in the past. I don't need to work a job anymore. I'm like kind of financially stable at a good certain foundational point. I need to push further and do more now. So the whole point of me making this video is to give you a topic, give you a lesson that I've went out there and I've learned and I've thought about, and I was like, okay, what can I share back to maybe to somebody that would be in the same situation as I was before, or maybe somebody that would benefit from my help, in terms of maybe if I was talking to my past self, what would I tell him in order to make him understand that his standards are what is going to define his future for him. Now, there's a lot of things that we can talk about. We can talk about business, we can talk about relationships, we can talk about how you should comport yourself, and we can talk about every single area in your life. Now, what I want to do is I want to give a global overview of why having high standards is important and why is it valuable. I'll give you a good example first. So, over the past 4 years, previously to the past, 5 years, I'd never dated before. So right now I'm turning 24 this month, and since the ages of 19 to any time before that, I had never dated a woman before, never gone on a date, never done anything like that, never done anything interesting in terms of relationships at all. I was just solely focused on myself, all right? Now, I might have had a few interactions and whatnot, but nothing too crazy, okay? Nothing too interesting, nothing too whatever. And this, I've noticed, has been a common theme in a lot of different people across all of the people that were born around the 2000s age, era, whatever you want to call it. Because I was born in 2002, right? It's I'm 23 right now, going on 24, born in 2002. And most people that were born around that same time period probably have the same, if you were introverted, if you're more focused on yourself, you probably have the same experience as I do, or something very similar to it. Now, my biggest issue that I had at the time is that I was a perfectionist. And since I looked at myself in the mirror and I looked like shit, at the time, 5 years ago, I was over 100 kilos, overweight. So that's roughly 220 pounds, if not more. I was overweight, looked like shit, felt like shit, and honestly, I wasn't very proud of myself. I was okay, when I'm playing video games all day, I'm basically doing nothing. Okay, I'm doing this study, I guess, to get a master's degree, which I don't give a flying fuck about. I don't see myself working a job in this industry whatsoever. So what can I do? And then I started thinking, okay, doing a bunch of stuff. And around this time, I had a massive, I guess you could say, change in the way I approach things. And I decided to change countries, go from France, which is the country where I was born, to New Zealand, which is where I am now, and completely figure my life out from the ground up over there. Because it basically was my Phoenix revival thing, if you know what I mean, if you know what I'm talking about. The Phoenix, what he does is he dies, and then his ashes, he's reborn from those. And so basically that's kind of like what I wanted to do. I wanted to shake up the box. I wanted to change my environment. I wanted to get something new done. I wanted to become a new person. And so the best way that I could do that is, since my dad was born in New Zealand, I had the ability to go there and to live there as a citizen by descent. And so this was extremely useful to me, because it not only pushed me to do better, but it also forced me to adapt to a new environment, which is exactly what I was looking for. So at the end of the day, basically what happened was I went from never having dated a woman before, playing video games all day, never run a business ever, working a job, to changing countries completely, never needing to work a job ever, creating my own business, making money from it, and dating a good load of women now here. So honestly, I'm pretty proud of what I've achieved, but it feels really insignificant. I'm gonna be honest. Like, the best way to describe it would be, I'm grateful for everything that I have and everything that I've done so far, but I'm extremely dissatisfied with what I have as well. It's like, I feel grateful for what I have, but I feel dissatisfied because I want more. So I'm kind of in this position where, and if I go back to what I was talking about, which was dating, I've dated a bunch of women now, so I've understood the importance in dating and business, and everything is linked when you actually think about it. So let's start with dating. Dating is extremely important to have high standards for yourself, because, and so like, there's going to be a bunch of people that are going to shame you for this, that are going to say like, oh yeah, what the fuck are you talking about, you misogynistic, da da da. It doesn't matter. I don't give a flying fuck what anybody else has to say. The whole point is, if I'm only looking for one partner, then in that case, I'm going to aim for the highest partner that I can have in terms of what I see in myself, and I'm going to have something equivalent to that. All right? So like, let's say if I'm a perfectionist, then that means I want the perfect partner. That means she needs to not do this, not do that, not do this, not do that, do this, do that, do this, be this kind of person, and just make an entire fucking list. I know some women that have lists that are probably like 500 items long of like different types of things that they want in their husband or their man or whatever. I have a list, maybe like close to 100 things that I want my woman to have, to behave in a certain way. And I think you should do that too. I've made a video on this topic quite some time ago, but basically the premise is, the higher your standards, the more easier it is to know how to filter out the good women and the bad women. Because the problem is, today, there's a lot of women that act super entitled. They think they should get everything, and they're actually extremely low quality. So you have to think for yourself, what kind of person, what kind of partner do you want? And then you have to define that first. Because by defining things, it is going to help you filter out the bad options. Okay, this person is not wife material, so I can just have fun with her, and I can just not really give a fuck. This person, on the other hand, has potential, so I'll give them a bit more time, a bit more attention, and if they prove themselves to me, then in that case, I'll progress the relationship forward. Okay, from situationship, I can move her into the girlfriend zone. It's kind of like, first you get to know women. Every single woman at the start, this is what I do. I put them in the situationship box. Then they prove themselves based on their behavior, based on who they are, what they've done in the past, who they are as a character. And then If the character matches what I want in a woman, in a girlfriend, then in that case, I'll progress her to girlfriend status. And then same thing with the girlfriend status. If she does as much as she could, as much as she can to support me to be the kind of woman that I want, the type that I want, then in that case, I'll progress her into the wife box. And in that case, I can just disregard all the others because she has chosen herself by putting in more action and effort to fucking be with me. That's the whole point. When you're in a relationship, the only thing that matters is your half of the engagement, and the other thing that matters the most is their half of the engagement. So if one side of the equation doesn't input, it doesn't work. So just keep that in mind. Second thing that I wanted to talk about really quick is business. Now, I've started my own business, and what I've noticed is I've worked with a lot of different people, okay? Some people I've worked with because I needed the money. And I needed the money more than choosing the right kind of business to partner up with. And so sometimes I partnered up with bad businesses, like businesses that didn't have the ingredients to grow. And so I end up partnered up with this guy who doesn't know half of what the fuck he's doing. He's trying his best, he's working hard, but he's not doing the right tasks. And the problem is he's not making that much money. So by me coming in, it's hard for me to do something with someone that hasn't really done anything yet, if you know what I mean. Like, if you start working with a business that has no social proof, it's gonna take maybe like a year to fucking, maybe 2 years to get it up and running, right? So it's much harder. But if you partner up with a business that's already somewhat successful, and then you help them grow and get more clients, then in that case, you get into a position where they're extremely successful super quickly thanks to your skills. So that's what I'm talking about. So it really matters the most is what kind of businesses do you partner up with? Do you partner up with everybody that asks you, or do you select and you vet people exactly like the way I've just described in dating? If you do the same thing, if you apply the same principle of high standards for the people you engage with and high standards for yourself, for you as the individual, then in that case, your future will be much brighter than anybody else's. So that's basically what I wanted to talk about today. Hope this lesson was interesting. If it was, like, comment, subscribe, and let me know what you think in the comments. This is going to be a shorter video. Usually I record these videos like 20 minutes long. I've got a call that I need to hop on within the next couple minutes. So that's why I'm ending the video a bit earlier than usual. But I post videos every single day. So if you want to check that out, feel free to do so. And I hope you have a beautiful day. And I will see you in the next one tomorrow, as it's a beautiful day. So it's time to get back to work. See you later.